You all set to go? You guys ready to fly? All right, with that being said, I'll call to order the June 9th meeting, and we'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, welcome, people. We haven't seen you guys in a year, or better. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing.
We survived. It's a good thing.
There we go. First, we need approval of minutes for May 22nd? 21st, I'm sorry.
The minutes aren't ready yet, so.
Oh, okay, so we won't do that then.
No.
Okay, 242-1810, request to continue till June 23rd.
So moved.
Before we move, are they making progress with the consultant?
Consultant secured. I'll be having a conference call with him tomorrow.
Excellent, good, thank you.
And we have another one, Anna Wise.
Second, Al.
Motion is second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that's unanimous. And there's one more, 242-1814, 3 Great Pond Road, request to continue till June 23rd.
Actually, this is the 14th.
All right, the 14th
So moved.
Of July.
of July.
7:14. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that's unanimous.
I have to recuse.
Okay,
That's it.
so we have 4 anyways. Next one is 242-1811, 1600 Osgood Street, a pump station sewer extension.
Here's the,
Good evening, my name is Rihanna Summers, I work for Epsilon Associates, and this is Paul Southworth and Olivia LaFrance from Woodard and Curran. They're the civil engineers on the project that did the stormwater report and design.
Okay, before you start, I'd like to get hear Amy's recommendation,
Yeah.
and then any questions from the board, and then we'll talk to you.
Sure.
Thank you. Amy,
you guys don't have chairs?
there's no chairs?
No, that's fine.
No, it's not.
You're supposed to be able to sit down while you,
I'm intimidated. Give you whatever you want.
sorry about that.
The commission will recall that this project consists of a new sewer pump station at the northern tip of 1600 Osgood Street on a 0.2 acre easement grassy area. The pump station will consist of a wet well, submersible sumps, valve vault, electrical distribution and control panel, meter vault, standby generator, asphalt driveway for access and parking, stormwater management, BMPs that include catch basins, water quality units, subsurface infiltration chambers, infiltration basin, and a stone level spreader. All work, aside from minor grading, is outside of the 50-foot build zone. The stormwater report was before us, and Joe Lynch wanted time to review it, and I believe, so that's really was the outstanding issue at the time. They did, some work is in the 25 and the 50, but it's all within existing paved roadway surfaces, so. And so
Okay.
I think we have the information that we need to close the hearing and issue a decision in 21
Right,
days.
just before I get to Joe, just one typo error. That's not Old Clock Road, it's Holt Road.
Oh. In my recommendation?
On your
On my-
commission will recall. It says,
Oh.
it says 1210 to Old Clock Road,
Oh, okay.
and it says Commerce Way to Old Clock Road.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
That's Holt Road. Okay. Joe, any questions, because you reviewed it, but
No, I reviewed the stormwater, everything seems to be in order on that. It's relatively small impact to the site itself. I think the biggest point I was driving home the last hearing, and had confidence by hearing the answer, was that these types of projects, understanding all the potential for crossing, culverts and other stormwater areas, becomes the conflict, especially with the gravity systems, not so much the pump systems where you could dive under and and whatnot. And I wanted to make sure the interferences was figured out. The last time we had a pretty major sewer project in town, there was a situation where we had, as a commission, had anticipated they were gonna run into a bridge abutment, and there was gonna be an issue, and lo and behold, it was like $100,000 change order. I just wanted to make sure those were all flushed out ahead of time. But they said they reviewed all those conflicts, and there aren't any.
Okay,
So I think we're all set.
thank you. Al?
I'm all set, Mr. Chairman.
Sean? All set? Tony?
I watched last meeting and.
Others? Okay, so we need a motion. Not that we don't want to hear from you, but
There may be no need.
I move that we,
You need to add to
do we
change our
have
mind?
to do a waiver? Do we have to,
Is there a waiver request?
yes.
It's all in roadway work for the waivers, yeah.
I'll let you do that one,
You want me to move the waiver?
or Joe. I can't get my
I think
fingers that
Joe-
dirty.
Since Joe reviewed it, since you reviewed it. I-
So my review was really limited to the stormwater management, to the pump station itself. I really wasn't looking at the corridor.
We understand that.
Great deep- Yeah.
We still want you to make the motion for the waiver.
Oh, just-
Yeah,
Sean doesn't want to make a motion, I understand that. I move to grant the waiver, given that it's only the fact that it's a new utility in existing pavement, otherwise it would be exempt. So I move that we
Second.
grant it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, and that's unanimous.
and I'll let Joe close it since he moved away.
I move that we close this decision within 21 days or sooner.
Second.
We have a motion and a
I will second that as well.
second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. See, that was easy.
Thank you.
I know you have to earn your paycheck, but that's okay.
Well, we just did.
Maybe on the next one.
Maybe
Maybe next time.
242-1813, 221 Webster Woods.
So the commission will recall that this project involves the demolition of an existing deck, rear deck, and construction of a new deck with a expanded patio. Patio underneath exists, expanding the patio as well. Initially, the patio and the deck were going to be further into the 75-foot no-build zone to the ephemeral pool, and there was also a shed that was in the 75-foot no-build zone. Commission asked that this further be value engineered to be compliant with our regulations. They've come back with reconfigured deck and patio. Deck and patio in the 75 that exists right now is going to stay the same, so they're working inside in same footprint. So the expansion is north, outside of the 75. So, and then the shed is eliminated altogether. So the commission gave those directives, and they've come back with a plan that's, you know, basically in compliance. And the new patio and stairs are, it's all within existing lawn, so no vegetation removal. And that's it. So I believe this is meeting what the commission's expected. I would recommend closing the hearing and issuing in 21 days.
Thank you. Joe?
No, I agree. Thank you for reconsidering what was important to us, and, you know, because you've done that, it sounds like it's approvable. I'm all set.
Yeah?
Is it your intention to condition any waste that needs to be cleaned up, or any of the noted in the recommendations?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a little area of yard waste pile next to the wetland on, I think it's the B series.
3B and 4B?
3B and 3, so that area just needs to get cleaned up a little bit.
Is that north?
It's kind of where behind where the shed would have been,
Oh, I remember.
sorta.
Yep,
Yeah,
clippings
so
from the
that needs to
landscaper.
get
I'll make
cleaned
sure he
up
gets rid of
and,
those.
yeah,
So do you want us to just make that a pre-construction
Can-
condition?
yeah.
When we do the decision?
yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm all set, Mr. Chairman.
yeah.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, so, good. John?
And it's in the same footprint as concerning the exact same footprint, or is it the same amount of square footage within the 75?
It's the Same footprint.
But, okay,
Yep.
great, thank you. No other questions?
I just look for a condition, and I don't think it'd be feasible to access from the south either, but if any excavation goes on, all the access comes from the driveway side of the house.
Absolutely.
Actually, on Sean's question, the overall footprint is greater, but that within
The 75.
the 75 is the same.
Same.
Okay.
Right, exactly. So construction access off the paved driveway, which is really the most logical place to go.
Okay, any more questions?
So you just want me, just to be clear, get rid of the clippings by the, where the
By the
proposed?
time we have a pre-construction meeting.
Okay, yeah, not a problem.
Because normally, we have an outstanding violation, this wouldn't get approved.
This would?
This would not get approved until it was cleaned up.
Okay, we'll take care of it.
We're doing it just the opposite, we're trying to get it quick.
As part of the conditions.
Right. So we need a motion.
Motion to close.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. You're all set.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next one is 242-1815, 59 Appleton Street.
Okay. I have to get up the most recent plan, but let me give you a rundown. So this project involves installation of an in-ground pool with associated 4-foot wide paver patio, walkway, and perimeter chain link fence. The edge of the walkway is 53 feet from the edge of the bordering vegetation at the closest point. All work is within law and requiring no tree removal. I inspected the wetland line and found it to be accurate. Previously, there was 2 existing sheds on the initial plan submitted, so we continued asking the applicant to remove those from a little bit in the 25 and the 50. They eliminated the smaller shed altogether and then moved the larger shed well out of the 50. So the site's in compliance now. The footprints of those sheds need a little dressing up. Right now, there's crushed stone over it for stabilization, but I think in the order, we can require that to be loam seeded with, native grasses. So, this is a waiverless plan. And I think the commission can close and issue in 21 days. Let me just try to find it.
Joe?
No questions.
Al?
I have no questions.
I just have, I'm directing them to you, Jack. I hate to sound like a stickler, but I'm really stickler about road, construction access and stockpiling, because I've only been in the business for 50 years. And I know when somebody doesn't do something right and show up on a job and you can't get in there, or you don't know, you're putting the material in a bad place. So, I'm not just singling you out, but that's a main focus of that's the first thing I look for.
Right, and it is on the plan, Lou.
Yeah.
I showed,
I know we had a
because I
move
know
with
I
it.
forgot it once, and that was it. I learned my lesson. So, never again. I said, I'm not going to upset Lou again. So, they're going to use the existing driveway as a construction access, and I show how they'll move around, and you see how we extended the erosion control right to the driveway limits, and we do show a soil stockpile area within the limits. One thing I wanted to add, we were issued a DEP file number for this.
Oh, you were?
Yep, it's 242-1815. And there's no trees to be cut or removed as part of this project. And there's only minor grade changes. We're basically working with the existing site grade.
Okay. Sean?
No questions.
Tony?
The only thing I had was just, I'm assuming we're going to move to close the hearing, so just to note that there's a Scrivener's error on the leader for the proposed 12-inch, down there for the thing. It's just going off into nowhere, but it's labeled someplace else, so I have no problem with accepting the plan, but just note it in the
Oh, it's
decision.
sort
So,
of pointing
yeah, so that way
to
it's just
nowhere?
noted and you don't have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went out and
Okay.
relocated the new shed
Yeah, no, that's-
location, and when I did it, I adjusted the erosion control, and I didn't adjust the
Yep.
leader.
Nope, it's labeled elsewhere, so I don't think it needs to be revised. Just, we've noted it, it's on the record.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion?
Close this decision in 21 days.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that's unanimous. Thanks, Jack.
Thank you.
Next one is 242-1816, 325 Johnson Street.
So this project, come to find out after the notice of intent was filed, the project engineer spoke with Gene Enright, the planning director, because this is in watershed, so it needs a watershed special permit, which he knew, and he had submitted at the same time of the notice of intent. But in speaking with the planner, she determined that this does need ZBA relief. So it's technically not a complete filing without that application to ZBA, so we're looking to continue. And what meeting are you gonna be shooting for the ZBA?
It would be mid-July.
I don't think they meet in July.
So,
They're not meeting in July.
they're not meeting in July?
They're meeting in August.
August.
Then I'm out
At
until...
least that's my understanding
Yeah.
as of tonight.
That's my
Okay.
understanding as well.
So
We can continue 4 weeks without issue. Why don't we push it to July anyway? If we need to continue again, so be it.
Okay,
and if I need to sign something, I can. So what happened is, I received an opinion from the building inspector that ZBA relief was not needed. So I prepared the watershed application, the NOI submitted the same day, and then Jean Enright thought I did still need it, and she went to the building inspector. I received a subsequent email saying, now they think I do need it, so I'm going to apply to the ZBA, but I already had everything in process, so if I can continue on until August, I will, and I'll look to get the ZBA. I still haven't submitted it, but I'm hoping to submit it early next week.
Our best option is just keep it open.
Yeah, continue 4 weeks, and then if we need to continue again, we will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just come back and forward and
Okay, that works.
All right, so we need a motion to continue.
to the 14th of July,
so.
is that what you're talking about?
But we don't want to go past 4 weeks.
True.
You have to repost, right?
We don't have to
Don't wanna-
repost
don't
and
wanna-
No, you're
re-advertise
right.
and all that
Don't
stuff.
wanna repost.
So if we go 4, we can
Okay,
just kick it again.
gotcha.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that's unanimous.
Thank you very much, thank you.
Thank you. Next one is 242, no number, Osgood Street, Osgood Landing.
No number, Mr. Chair?
No number yet. Unless,
I think this is the.
unless Mike's gonna enlighten us.
This is
Yeah. No. It's the same area, it's the same stretch of roadway.
the same
But
zip code.
It's a
But
new
the
entrance.
entry, it's the roadway entrance.
Yeah, new
Yes,
entrances.
to the site.
Got it.
Mike,
Yeah.
did you keep it in the same zip code at least?
Yes, sir. For the record, same zip code.
All right, so, I'm just trying to find the plans. This just takes forever to download. Okay, so in coordination with Mass DOT, the town proposes to widen the roadway to convert 2 existing unsignalized driveway entrances at 1600 Osgood to right-in, right-out only traffic pattern. Provide a provision for 2 left turn lanes at the driveway entrances. Provide for MBTA bus bay. Construct a pervious pavement shared path shared use path. Mill and overlay the existing roadway and widen the roadway in areas for those turning radiuses. Stormwater report states that the project results in overall less impervious on the site or within the project limits by 5%. Stormwater report is included. BMPs include catch basins, hydrodynamic separator, and deep sump catch basins, and street sweeping that would remove 55% TSS. There's 2 watersheds, design points A and B, and essentially they split the project in half. Let's see. Work is within the 100-foot buffer zone to BVW, 50-foot no-build zone, and 25-foot no-disturb zone. If I can find a plan, that'd be great. I may be in the wrong plan set. Actually, this is what I want to do. Okay. So the very northerly entrance to the site will receive expanded pavement on the shoulder. So that pushes things closer to the wetland. They're proposing a retaining wall off the shoulder, so that brings work within like 2 or 3 feet of the wetland. So this is Wetland Series 13, and it receives runoff from the site, discharging, daylighting into a portion of the, I never call wetlands ditches, but it's sort of a conveyance channel that is paved, partially paved within, I would say, 10, 15 feet or so of it. A stretch of it is paved, so, you know, it's not like we're up against pristine wetlands in this area. So a waiver request has been submitted. Part of their alternatives analysis involved constructing roundabouts, which actually ended up being way more impactful than these widening of lanes. And other either simple signalization or stop signs would actually reduce safety. So the current design, you know, is what they decided and results in less impervious surface overall. You know, this is another instance where we have a stormwater report that I don't know if the commission wants to do third-party peer review or not. It's not before any other boards. So, you know, barring that, I don't know if there's much more to say.
Thanks. Joe, any questions?
Probably a couple questions and a couple comments. Question one is coordination of this work and the roadway widening. It's in the very close proximity as to the pump station we just talked about. Do they coordinate well? Are they conflicting with each other?
Yeah, so good evening, folks. For the record, my name is Mike Howard from Epsilon Associates. With me tonight is John Perry from Langen and Mac Utse from Hillwood. You might remember Mac from our prior appearances from this board. It was 2 years ago now. Everything's lost to the pandemic. So to answer your question, Joe, and John, maybe you can build upon my knowledge of it. I was talking to my colleagues in the back asking about that scheduling item. It sounds like the sewer project and the pump station project is targeted for Q3 of this year. That aligns with the schedule that we're targeting, which is Q3 of this year as well, too. So right now, they seem to be lining up pretty well.
Okay, from a schedule perspective,
Schedule
the actual physical improvements there, they complement each other, they don't conflict, you know, the driveway, the roadway widenings, driveway entrance, pump station one out there, they all work well together?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. So those are my questions, and the comment is, so with the roadway widening and a waiver as such, and I recognize it's an armored channel, it's an old historic drainage ditch, for lack of a better phrase, it really is. But nonetheless, it's, you know, it's wetland, probably ought to be considered as such, and so what I would consider a waiver, I think there's an opportunity with the roadway widening for other BMPs that can be in place, whether it's, you know, deep sump catch basins and other stormwater management things that can be put in place to protect the resource area greater than what we already have in exchange for the waiver. And you've employed those?
Yes, and John is happy to walk you through. We do have some water quality inlets and things to improve water quality. If it's okay with Joe and the commission, he can walk you through what he's proposing for stormwater upgrades, if that makes sense.
Yep. Again, John Perry with Langen Civil Engineer. So, as Amy mentioned before, we do have an overall reduction of impervious area to the limit of work of about 10,000 square feet. The current bus lane that's out there now is going away, and we're converting that to more of a bus bay, more of a drop-off style, pickup style. So that's a big reduction in impervious area. We are also going to be installing a 12-foot wide shared use, multi-use path along the road improvements on the west side. And we're using pervious pavement for that, so we can have a higher water quality treatment, and again, to reduce impervious areas. And then there are a handful of catch basins in the road now that will need to be shifted based on the road widening, right? They'll be shifted to the new gutter line, and we're proposing all new catch basins for those. We're not going to try to relocate what's there, so they'll be all new deep sump and hooded catch basins. And then in this particular area that Amy has up on the screen now, which is in close proximity to that particular wetland within the 25-foot buffer, we are proposing a hydrodynamic separator catch basin unit there as well, realizing that there is going to be, although we have an overall decrease in impervious area, we realize that at this particular location there's actually an increase in impervious area near the wetland, so we wanted to try to go and increase water quality treatment to the maximum extent we can. We did look at things like other swales and bioretention areas, but there just isn't room for that there. Obviously, you see that we're already only a few feet off of the wetland area, and we are trying to, we are reusing a few existing outlets there. So we're not going to be redoing any head walls or flared-in sections, which would also, just result in impact to the direct wetlands.
The overall things that I was hoping to hear and expecting to hear, that's great. Yes. So the follow-up to that would be, ongoing maintenance after this is constructed. I would suspect, but I don't know, so say it. Responsibility, is the town, is it Mass DOT, or is it the developer itself of Osgood Landing? And I suspect it's not the developer.
It would be Mass DOT. Yeah, everything is going to be within their right-of-way. And the right-of-way is going to be altered to accommodate for the widening, and all the new, mast arms and traffic control devices will be within the right-of-way. So they will own the everything that we're doing.
Are they a party to this application?
Yes. Yep. They reviewed it and they signed it.
Okay. Do we have some sort of affidavit from the file that obligates them for the ongoing perpetual maintenance? That would be, honest to God, out of the pecking order, I have greater faith in the developer maintaining, less faith in North Andover, and even less faith in the state. So I would need something that says that we're going to maintain it.
Sure. Yep.
Like it never mince words.
It wasn't me this time, Mike.
No, but not yet.
I know, the night is young, right?
It is.
I mean, they're listed in the long-term O&M. And I assume since they reviewed the notice of intent, they saw their own name listed as the
So are
responsible.
they the applicant? Is it Mass DOT is the applicant? Because if we have an O&M plan submitted on their behalf,
They're not the
owner.
applicant.
Their
so let's
owner.
not mince words, let's get right
Oh,
to
their
it.
owner.
I would like a letter from DOT
Okay.
that simply obligates them to the agreement to adhere to the proposed O&M plan, assuming that that's an O&M plan that we're approving, but, we need that on the record. Because I think your O&M plan is gonna be rock solid, things to be done, and in a certain order, and a certain amount of frequency, and, no faith that Mass DOT is gonna carry that out. Unless they say so, then we're gonna make them.
Joe, if in a letter, maybe the way that we'll do whatever, we'll try and do whatever the commission wants, but is another alternative maybe adding a signature line to the O&M plan with some sort of responsibility statement to keep it all in one? Is that a better approach for the commission as opposed to?
I suppose if they're submitting it for the record as a DOT signature, obligating
Yes.
the department, then I guess that does that, exactly that. So, yeah, that would suffice to me.
We'll look at both alternatives.
It's actually probably better than a separate letter,
I think so,
because it's recordable.
correct.
I'm all set.
I was gonna ask questions about the alternatives analysis, but I had a chance to read it, and I think the alternatives analysis is adequate, and it does answer the question, so I am all set with that.
Okay. If this is approved, what would you do with the, because the sewer pipe has to be approved at town meeting, correct? Or is that all set?
I don't know the answer to that question, Lou. You're talking about the project that was before the commission earlier tonight?
But, yeah, well, I'm just, construction coordination, I mean, if they're gonna dig up 125, that would be a good time for you guys to do your thing.
No, I agree with that, but I got lost in the town meeting comment that you made.
But doesn't, well, it was Goldstein,
Yeah?
the town, and there was another entity, we're all gonna partner up to do the sewer line, right?
Oh, I understand the context of it. I don't know the specifics of that, Lou. I don't know if Mac, if you do, thank you.
Yes.
All that agreement's in place, though. All that's done, they have all the approvals they need from the town as far as I know.
So just,
It's funded, we funded our share, we paid a third of it. Ori Goldstein dedicated, gave the town the easement for the pump station.
so the town's already kicked in their part? I
There-
thought it was
there's a
required.
MassWorks grant is funding a portion of it, and the town, I believe, has a third. So, I mean, I assume the town has their third, but, you know, they didn't share that.
Which would be the only thing that might require separate town meeting approval for the appropriation. MassWorks, they can just spend it as grant money, or can spend it as she wishes. And the town to pledge money requires a legislative action, which is town meeting, so, you know. But it doesn't really matter, it's a matter of timing and coordination, really, is what the
Yeah.
question comes down. If it doesn't get approved at town meeting, and your project's predicated upon coordination with the other project.
That may have been done at the original filing, Phil. That could have been accomplished at the time of the original
Yeah,
filing.
That I don't
it
know.
would be nice to know. If they can't do anything without the sewer pipe in the ground, these guys can build all they want, they'll have no sewer connection. Right?
Yes,
You
and
still use, you're going out in the street, you're not gonna use the trunk line going
it's in the street
up back,
separate,
right?
correct.
We're using the sewer through GLSD out back to the site. until
Are you gonna
such time
continue
as-
using that?
No, we'll stop using it as soon as we connect to the sewer in the street, so we're good until that's in place.
Okay.
And it's designed to switch up.
It's just,
So let's go, worst case scenarios, it does require town meeting approval, and it doesn't happen this town meeting, and you're pushed off to the fall or next spring. Your stopgap measure is you can operate your facility using what you have now without the pump
Oh,
station.
correct. We plan-
So even if this doesn't move forward, it's a matter of sequencing of those other things. It doesn't affect you guys at all.
But I'm 99% sure the town they have their first, like I said, they're geared up for third quarter start.
Yeah, I think Mac's right, and I don't know the specific answer, but my instincts, my understanding is the same as Mac's. I was talking to the Woodard and Kern folks before we came before you this evening and asked about their schedule. They're going out to bid, I think this summer, and they want to start construction in Q3, so that tells me that
that's good.
the town has their ducks in
I'm
a row.
only doing this for your protection.
Yeah.
It's not what issues pertain, but you dig it up, you put your things in, then they dig it up. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, we're planning to do a full mill and overlay through the whole road too. So if there's some timing coordination in there where we get all of our curbing in, and then they need to come in after the fact to put the sewer line in, we just mill and overlay, after the trench has been dug
Yeah.
and that's been backfilled.
There's not a fly in the ointment, but it's unintentional that if these projects run concurrently, there is an opportunity, there's a realistic chance that you could have two separate order conditions obligating two separate parties to undertake two separate projects with very similar erosion controls and potential for violations, one or the other, and finger pointing. So how the heck do we coordinate that to make sure that the responsibility of work in those same jurisdictions don't conflict and don't, butt heads?
What are our great administrators for, Joe?
Well, I'll be writing them at the same time. So,
I will say there is a commonality. Epsilon is involved with both of those projects. There is a commonality between their wetland consultants guiding us through the permitting process, so that
So blame you.
that provides some continuity. You can
Don't come
potentially
talking about
blame
Howard
me.
again.
The other comment I would make is I think the focus area is really near where the pump stations, because
Exactly.
otherwise it's kind of in the middle of the road. And the potential for wetland impacts, I think, is really remote for the vast majority of both projects. It's just down in this location here where there's that overlap.
What's the pump station?
To the left of here. It's just off the screen to the left.
Okay, like I said, I'm just trying to get an idea of what's going on. Because potentially you've got 3 projects going on at the same time. The pump station, your entrance improvements, and the sewer line. So it would be nice if you guys could coordinate all 3, because you'd probably save money. And that's what we're all talking about, right? And the impacts of the wetlands.
I think the separate filings make sense. Everybody just pointed out is the only downfall. As long as everything's compliance, there's never a problem. It's when there's a violation and someone says, well, the erosion controls were inadequate. Well, they were responsible for that. That's where you get into the.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why we're having 3 people at the same time trying to do something. It could get muddled. So I think if you guys could coordinate somehow.
Yeah, I think it's a very fair question. I've seen the potential to have overlapping projects. We'll have to think about that a bit. I think as the schedules clarify, that'll provide some guidance to how we'll manage those projects. Right now, they're targeting the same time period, which would be great. I would think it would be great. Maybe separation is good. I don't know, but I hear you, Lou, and I'll be sure to have those conversations with both applicants to see if we
Okay,
can understand.
thank you. Sean?
So there are, how many locations are there where you're getting closer to the wetland? 13 series only, or 13 and 2?
Correct. There's 3 wetland series along the road widening.
Yep.
And the only place where we're getting closer is Series 13, where Amy just had it on the screen. The other 2, it's just a mill and overlay there.
Yep. Now, I have a plan in front of me. It's sheet 1 of 5, and it has an area in gray. Is that the area that is getting closer?
What's the name of the sheet? In the top right.
Construction plan 1 of 5.
1 of 5.
Yeah, it doesn't have a,
That's the new pavement.
that is the new,
Yep. So, correct. That's the area that's getting closer.
okay, so everything in gray is getting closer on both sides of the driveway?
Correct. Well,
Well, yeah, so the other side of the driveway is
on-
not getting
On
closer.
Series 13 it is. On the other side it's not, because the wetland's on the eastern side of the street over there.
Yep. And what is the necessity of increasing that area there?
Near wetland 13.
Yeah,
The main goal of this project is, we went through a rigorous permitting process with Mass DOT. Looked at a lot of different alternatives with them, as Amy mentioned before. The main focus is to create a right turn lane in to the facility and a left turn lane from the northbound route.
yep,
And it's the right turn lane in, the dedicated right turn lane in,
yep.
that is creating the new impervious area, and that's to increase, traffic vehicular safety.
So it's necessary for that right turn lane that this additional area needs to be utilized?
Yes, yes. And we actually looked at if we held the western side of the street
Yep.
and widened to the other side of the street, but that actually would put us directly into the other 2 wetland areas. And there's a lot of, other challenges over there. There's, abutters and topography and more utilities, guardrails, so there's other aspects to it as well.
And this plan, you think, minimizes the distance you're getting closer?
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
I'm sure you've already triggered MEPA before this, so this doesn't change anything for your MEPA status right now.
Correct.
Only other question, that's the wetlands that runs by the baseball fields. It's been a while since I've been out there. I always remember there being a ton of Phragmites out there. Is there any opportunity to kind of get some of them out?
Good question. So we are actually in the process now, working with Taylor and Amy to map all the invasive species on the project site. And you guys might be seeing that map tomorrow, coincidentally, Amy. See, I got a draft of it today. This area here, there's cattails and some phragmites further downstream for this, but the area where we're talking about now, it's almost a 1.5 to 1 slope of just roadway fill right down to this asphalt apron that comprises the wetland flags, generally between 13.1 and 2 from the head wall. There's not a lot of phragmites in that location.
No, anytime I can get invasive species in here, I'm always looking
Yeah, yeah. Well,
But,
and that's a big focus for the adjoining project site that we'll be working on the days ahead, yeah.
Just a quick follow-up question, if I may. Are there any fencing or barriers between where the wetland is and where you're getting closer over here?
Just the retaining wall.
And how far does that drop down?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
The retaining wall, how tall is the retaining wall?
Yeah.
It's fairly minimal. I think it's 3 feet tall, give or take.
And a 2 to 1 slope back up to the road.
Yes. It would be riprap from the top of the wall up to the street.
Is there any sidewalk on the side of the road?
Not in that spot. So the multi-use path goes between the northernmost entrance and the southernmost entrance.
Yep, so
To
it
avoid
stops right
to
about there.
avoid
right?
wetland impact, Sean, is not, if we did the work, that was another measure they looked at during the alternatives analysis to avoid work in the wetlands. There's just no room to build a sidewalk there without impacting the wetlands.
Do you think it would benefit at all by having like a chain link fence or something in the area where you're getting closer to the wetlands? As far as protecting them from, the garbage and gunk that comes along with a roadway and an entrance?
like a trash.
Can I speak to that? A good question. The commission might recall that before we filed the notice of intent for the Amazon project, we closed out a couple old orders of conditions for the different projects that occurred on that site. One of those was this location here, and you might recall we vacked out the sediment from the asphalt stream and all that. Ton of trash in this area. My observation, Sean, when I was closing out that order to get the certificate, was the fencing that was out there at the time was a huge trap for the trash, and it was not protecting the wetlands. It was just it was a mess. I don't think a fence is going to help. There's always going to be a lot of trash coming off of 125, but from my observations, I thought it made the situation worse, in my opinion.
Yeah, just where I was going to go to, fencing is probably not the best thing in regards to minimizing trash, and as far as, promoting future maintenance likelihood is, the fence just gets in the way. But there is guardrail along that whole widening.
Presently there is.
Yes.
And what's proposed is guardrail.
There'll be new guardrail.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you have a physical,
Yes.
barrier between, the travelway and the slope. But
Exactly.
realistically, recognizing that it's wider, the snow removal is gonna plow right up into that area. It's just gonna blow off the side of the road, and it will be in this area, so snow removal off the roadway is what's gonna happen.
I will say though, Joe, from an O&M perspective, with the new development, we will have assuming they're implemented, which I'm confident they will be, we will have the best O&M plans that this site has had, in a long time.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
What I was doing was trying to, spin off of exactly what my observation on the fence is that it would only be something in the way to hinder future maintenance.
That's my
Yeah,
observation too.
that would not be an attractive thing. So looking at that same sheet, that sheet 1 of 5 of the construction set, does it make any sense to do an overlay of these other improvements in this area where it's, right within our jurisdiction, and just signify it as by others to help with that coordination question down the road? I think the two consultants coming up with a single document that reflects the likelihood of these things need to be coordinated, just be shown on a single plan, and just show it as by others.
Show the pump station if it would show, and the sewer line on the plan and call it out by others?
Well, I think it does, and I think it really shows, it would likely only show on that sheet 1 of 5.
What if we added a call-out, Joe, referring them to the record drawings that'll be referenced in the other order of conditions by others?
I think it's a minimal, but if you can coordinate that on a single sheet and signify it by others.
You're kind of, you're talking about showing proposed work, that both projects.
Correct.
So I'll ask both of you, is that one engineering firm's doing one, is that an issue for engineering firms to share
Not responsibility, no. If you simply show it on the plan and signify it by others, that liability goes away. The other firm is responsible for it. But I think what it does show is, in a single sheet, a single document, how that coordination is important, in this vicinity.
Yeah, we could probably show it graphically, I think we have the plans for that project.
Yeah, and even if it's, more than schematic, but not in great detail, show it on here with a big box that
Just the
shows that
intent.
in that
Just-
area, it's by others.
All right, so we need to continue.
So moved. Second.
Second, third.
All those in favor?
2 weeks before,
2 weeks or 4.
to get all the things that were raised, all the questions that were raised reported properly.
Well, I think the bottleneck's gonna be getting Mass DOT to sign that O&M plan. So I guess you wanna say 2, and then if we,
Wanna try 2, see if you have it?
We would like to try that, if that's okay with the
Yeah.
commission.
I'd be happy if they just submitted, similar to your illicit discharge statement, something that would have to be executed if they can't get Mass DOT to do it, just as a pre-construction condition, that those get
Pre-construction
signed.
condition.
Yeah, if they're dragging their feet and they're ready to go with all the other changes.
No, right.
Just say, similar to your illicit discharge statement, that'll be a pre-construction condition to have that signed. Have a similar statement on the O&M, and then prior to construction,
That's a
get
good
that signed.
solution. Why don't we'll take a crack at doing the preferred approach, and then if that works for you, turn it. Yeah, all right, so we would respectfully request a continuance for 2 weeks, if that works for the commission.
Was it in June?
23rd.
I'm sorry, I apologize. We have a motion and a second already.
Sorry.
For the 23rd.
Okay, I just have one more question. By next meeting, maybe you can give us an idea on if you had any coordination with all three, with town, whoever's doing the sewer, proposed, you and the pump station. And then maybe find out if the town has already got the financing in place. So,
I'll look into that.
this way we can.
Maybe that's a simple staff conversation.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I feel like it's already in the bag.
So it's continued to June 20, what did you say?
June 23rd.
June 23rd. Okay.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
I gotta say, it's really nice to see all you guys again, thank you. It's
Hey,
been way too long.
we voted 22.
What was the date again, though?
23rd.
23rd.
Thank you.
Thank you.
moved?
I did this.
Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And that's unanimous.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Next one is, you ready? 242, no, filed, no DEP number, 217 Gray Street.
This project is for a proposed, hold on, just give me 1 second, okay? My computer, this is not working,
Amy,
this
we-
screen.
we could-
So, this, yeah,
Wait, I'm just looking at your recommendations. In order to guide the applicant, I need direction from the commission as to whether the commission will withhold making a decision until after the ZBA has rendered its decision. I am assuming so you can, and you can do some planning review
So
also.
this has to go before the ZBA. They submitted, and they won't get heard until August 10th with the ZBA. We don't have a DEP file number either. So, I know that the commission's policy and MO is not to deliberate on a project that could potentially change based on another board's decision. So I imparted that to the applicant and his builder, that we may not be discussing much tonight, but
That's a good, solid policy, but it's not always best served to carry it out in exactly that order, so this might be one of those circumstances. ZBA may need to hear that the hardship is predicated upon us not granting approval in order for them to get whatever they need. So in this instance, they may play off of our guidance, if you will. So what I'm hearing is, as proposed now, without ZBA involvement, this would be a project that we would probably consider.
Probably, yes.
Probably consider if not
Yes.
approved, right?
Right, there's no
So-
waivers requested.
But if this were to change to comply with zoning, it's something we would likely not. So I think in this instance, this makes sense that we give that guidance to the ZBA.
Okay,
My opinion.
yep,
Because that might be exactly the basis for the ZBA to consider a variance, the hardship. And without our input, that may not be clear to them.
okay.
So that's the only thing I want to add to that.
I would respectfully disagree. I think that as it stands right now, it's a malleable project. And I'm not willing to discuss it until I know that it's in place. That's just my 2 cents.
You know, we have a system that's worked pretty well as long as I've been here. That we don't give guidance to applicants. And to me, that would kind of like give them guidance towards ZBA. ZBA hasn't approved, they haven't even gone in front of ZBA. So even if we gave them guidance on this plan, ZBA could throw it out the window and vice versa. So I don't think I think we should, they have no DEP number anyways, but I think it should be continued at least till the next meeting. And what you said, they're not meeting in July,
No, they're not.
so I think we should wait till August. I mean, we do it to everybody, we tell people.
Oh, no, I'm not saying issue a decision at this table contingent upon that. I'm saying that our discussion and review of this application becomes the basis for the applicant to say, look, we went to conservation and they're not inclined to grant a waiver, so we.
They're not asking
We're
for
not asking for
waivers.
waivers.
We don't know if they need
Yeah.
one.
Well, no, they're not asking for it.
They're not.
If you look at
And
the
they- yeah,
application.
No,
It's on
they're
the
not.
other side, it's on the other side of the driveway, right, what they're proposing?
Yeah, I mean, the waiver, the
Did I
relief
read
they
it
need
wrong?
from ZBA is a corner setback to the new garage. But all of the work is out of the 50, so it's not like a waiver for us.
No, I'm not saying close initial decision.
No.
Contingent upon zoning, that I'm not
Oh,
saying at
oh,
all.
right.
But all I'm saying is that, based on what we've seen, it would be an approvable project, and that perhaps is what zoning needs to be nudged towards granting that variance.
Gotcha.
I'm thinking of Zanakis 15, 20 years ago off of Mass Ave, up in one of the wood neighborhoods. Exact same thing. They needed to move the house forward to comply with our bylaw, which they did, but because of that, they needed a front yard setback from zoning. Zoning used that as the hardship to grant that variance. It was exactly the same circumstance, and in the end, they got what they needed to preserve their zoning bylaw, and we got what we needed for the wetlands bylaw. So, but again, we didn't close
Yeah.
until
Oh,
after
right.
zoning.
Right,
And that was like 15, 20 years ago.
yeah.
But I don't see a waiver request. There's no waiver request. They don't need a waiver
So,
from us.
may I
They
make a
need relief from
suggestion?
I think
zoning.
we just continue it.
That's what
Go
I'm
ahead, Sean.
I
So,
agree.
What, from your perspective, tell us why you're here before zoning. Is Joe's point what brings you here today?
So the zoning bylaw,
This is Matt Murphy.
I'm Matt Murphy, sorry, I'm the builder, this is Paul
I'm
Miller.
Paul Miller, the
He's
owner.
So the bylaw, and as we instructed to do it, it said the zoning application had to be submitted. It's in the bylaw, so that's what we did. Honestly, this is gonna be in 2 phases. The back deck, we wanna build first anyways, but we're advised by the front office to try to put both these projects together at this board. If, I realize without a DEP number, we're not gonna be able to close tonight anyways, but this is our proposal, and we have the application submitted as the letter of the bylaw. It's like chicken or the egg type thing.
It was our impression that if we submitted the application, it allowed us to come to this commission for a review.
But we don't know what zoning's gonna do, and we can't very well issue a decision from us, knowing that zoning could change
Yeah.
things.
And conversely to what you just said, Mr. Miller, is that my understanding is that we don't, and I don't know if this is by regulation or just by practice, we don't issue our decisions or review things until all the other boards have put in their 2 cents. And it sounds like every board would want to be in that position, right? To wait till
Exactly.
everything's all
Yeah.
done, but I do think that is either, again, by regulation or practically speaking, we're the last stop on the train, right?
It's been our practice as long as I've been on this commission.
And I think
It's not
other-
regulation, but it's been.
and other boards, I think, and I think the
Right.
other boards realize that and agree and respect it.
I get what you're saying about the garage. If it had to get moved, it could change this picture,
I
right?
mean, that's the problem,
Yeah.
actually, because what you have here, what I see, in my opinion, it looks like an approvable project. If zoning weren't involved, we would very likely close an issue.
Can we do something in relation to the decks and the patio and the screened-in porch where
that won't require zoning? Because it
Not
doesn't.
without coming back for separate filing, so I think the guidance was, your original guidance was good, as to, if, whatever it is you're proposing to, get one permit for it all.
Yeah.
And this is that opportunity to do that. So let me ask you this, is the variance requirement affect only one corner, Matt?
It's just the garage. The
And
garage
it's that-
phase is that setback right there, that 11.33.
And it needs to be what, 15?
30,
30.
which puts the garage effectively in my backyard.
So it's not a slam dunk.
No, by no means. It's not easy. The house in the west is over 100 feet away, so that's and the lot line comes in an apex, but ideally, we just want to build the deck.
Let me say something, if they were not gonna grant this setback, the garage is gone. There's no other place to put it. So it's just not gonna happen.
That's not a decision we can make.
Understand?
Yeah.
What is the easiest way do we pull this and resubmit as two separate projects?
I was
And
gonna say, wouldn't the other one be a small project almost? I mean, they're outside.
Well, let's see, there's a demolition of an existing enclosed porch and wood deck, and then they're gonna build an addition, a new deck with a hot tub, and then a patio. So that's all in here, that's all in here.
That's small, that's more than a
Takes it
small
out of
Yeah.
a small project.
That puts you into a minimum in IDA.
All right, it's just, I'm just looking at the distances.
If there's no waivers, it probably could be an IDA.
Deck and
But when are
patio
you
would be-
in front of ZBA?
The thing of it is, there's no.
Well, their
gate.
next meeting is not till August
August.
10th.
See, that's why I was thinking well, they might be able to file an RDA, which would be a cheaper route on this.
If they took the garage out of the picture and they didn't need a variance from ZBA, they could bring in a different application.
Yeah, and that'd probably be cheaper
They
than
could quicker.
reapplying
That's
for
an
a-
option you have.
Well, if they're gonna
is-
take the
is
garage
don't- Don't
up,
send this one forward, take the garage off the picture and work with Amy.
Yeah, no, we just got scared when we saw the continued to August,
I know.
so we'd be happy to.
but why can't they file for modification, take the garage off the
Well,
table?
because
You can't do a garage on
That would be a-
That's a separate file.
that's
That would be a-
it would have to be a
that would be a
whole new.
No, I mean, just
more
take
than
it off,
amended.
take it out of the plan.
Yeah, but when they come to do it later on, it wouldn't be a modification to that.
No,
permit.
they'd
It
have
would
to
be a new
re-
file.
they'd have to
It would be a-
refile.
I'd be happy to do what you just said and refile for the
And
garage
refile
later
for
on.
garage.
If they're willing to do that, that would
Yeah.
be clean.
If you wanna do that, but that may not help you with ZBA. You gotta look at the bigger picture.
I'll deal with ZBA on their own, I guess, right? My interest is
So if
hopefully.
you want the project to stand alone without the garage,
If
I-
we
I
got a
wa-
couple of feet, I think,
Just-
my premise would be that this would help. We're talking about a considerable
30
variance.
feet's
I don't-
a long
I don't
one.
think this, whatever it is that we do isn't gonna help.
so they
sway that.
they take the garage out and just file a new IDA or just amend this one?
No, just do it, file an
Just
amendment.
amend this notice?
You mean modify it?
Modify it, I'm
So,
sorry.
so continue,
Modify your
continue
application.
to the next
You
meeting.
need,
Great.
yeah.
Yeah,
Give Amy a modified set of plans, so
And
you
you
file
need
for
your DEP
modification.
number.
yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
it's
so
COVID,
that-
we've
we gotta wait
applied
for
for
that
it.
We're
anyways.
trying, I mean,
So,
So
So what we'll do is taking the.
right,
records of the
exactly, yeah,
garage
yeah,
off
no.
Take the garage-
Procedurally, we were just looking for some
so
direction.
take the garage off
Moving
the
the
table,
elephant from the room.
right?
Yes, exactly right.
File for modification for the next meeting.
Yep.
Take the garage off the table, because rough, just looking,
Don't ask for any waivers.
don't ask for any waivers.
Right.
We don't need it for the.
You don't need them.
No.
So, and the project is probably approvable. I can't see anything on the top of my head, but,
So all they need now is a continuance.
yeah,
So moved.
Second.
Wait a minute.
I just want to point out, I talked to the builder while on site. There's an area of wetland that's currently being maintained as lawn, so that's going to need to stop, and that area is going to need to be allowed to grow back. So-
Okay.
And so,
Back.
Step back right
it's,
corner.
yeah, it's basically this area
Yep.
right here that really needs to just be allowed to grow back. It's
So-
probably historic mowing.
So when they modify this application, that should be part of it.
Okay,
Noted on the plan?
yep,
Yeah, when you change the plan,
Sure.
add the 25 and the 50-foot buffers on there too.
yes.
I mean, you
That
show you're
was-
out of there,
That
but-
was on the original plan, then it came
Oh,
off
okay.
because
Stockpiling, we added that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so it-
stockpiling and
So
construction access.
what do you want from the back corner? They want?
So-
They just want a note saying they.
this area
Don't
needs
mow
to
that.
revert to, or
This area being-
cease mowing, revert to,
What's this area, 25 feet from the wetland? Or the wetland?
yes, yep.
It's the no disturb zone.
Well,
so
actually, it's in the wetland
That's what
and
I
then,
mean.
It's in the wetland.
right, it's in the
we want you to let
wetland.
it come back.
But
Which-
coming out 25
Which
feet
we
from
just
the
knew about 2 weeks ago was wetlands.
Yeah.
You'll have fun watching it revert back.
Yeah, yeah.
It'll take about
Yeah,
5 weeks.
all right.
All right, so you know what you gotta do?
I
We're
do,
gonna
yes, thank you.
Modify.
Modify and make a note to not
Just-
mow.
Communicate with our staff, though.
Yep, great, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right, so continue to the next meeting, we need a motion.
I think you got a motion. Yeah, you got a motion, second,
You
Mr. Chairman.
seconded?
All those in favor say aye, everybody keeps
Aye.
Aye.
opposed, and that's unanimous. Go set.
23rd?
23rd.
23rd.
Thank you.
Thanks so
Okay,
much.
thanks.
Yeah, we don't take the month of July off.
We got too much to do.
We got too much.
Next one is 242-1721, 562 Boxford Street. It's an amendment.
It's 1210, 1210?
Yeah, 1210 Osgood
We
Street.
already
I'm sorry,
voted.
we already did that.
Didn't we vote?
We didn't continue yet, we have to continue it.
I thought we did, okay. 242-1692, requested continue to 623.
We already, 1692? Yeah, you did that at the beginning. believe.
Yeah, I
You
thought
did.
we did.
Yeah, you did it.
I thought we
Yep,
did.
I crossed
Sorry,
it.
Lou.
I'm old, but I'm that old.
I'm older.
All right, so we got 242-1721, 562 Boxford
And
Street.
we got the original John Moran right there.
Yeah, we got him on TV.
In person. Alrighty, so, Commission will recall reviewing a proposal for a front porch, walkway, rear landings and stairs, bulkhead and patio in the 75-foot no-build zone to ephemeral pool. At the last meeting, the commission asked that the applicant shrink footprint within 75 as much as possible, and if at all possible, eliminate the front porch from the 75. So they've come back with the plan. Front porch and walkway are out of the 75, so that was accomplished. And then the rear access areas, so the commission didn't seem to have trouble with a simple granite landing and stairs for the slider and the back door. But there was going to be a bigger walkway here, paver walkway. So commission asked for a flagstone, stepping stone type layout. And then once you get past 75, they are gonna build a walkway and stairs here. So as far as the commission's request at the last meeting, I think this has been value engineered appropriately.
Well said.
Thanks.
Any questions, Joe?
Yeah, what does that mean?
You know, it may have been all stated at the last meeting, but it
Means it
really
got
was all
fixed.
predicated, it was all built upon the testimony when this first came through. We had a lot of abutter input, if you remember. And
Yes, we did.
this all is consistent with that testimony from back during the original hearing,
This
so I'm
is the
satisfied.
one I got in trouble on.
One of the many.
Hey. Do you have any questions?
No, I'm all set.
Al?
All set, sir.
I just want one thing to say. John, in the future, when you submit an application on a project, please don't give us a box. You know, in other words,
An
put
envelope.
an envelope, put the decks, put the stairs.
Oh, yeah,
Put the
so-
bulkheads, because what's gonna happen if from now on, what I think, from listening to the commission, they're gonna let you operate out of the box. So that house is gonna,
Yep. Just for the record, Christensen and Sergi did the original engineered site
yeah,
plan.
I'm not trying to throw you in the.
We inherited
That's
that
old.
issue, and it's funny because, we all talked in the office how we all know 20 years ago, it was a box and it was a driveway, and that was it.
Yeah,
And slowly over the last 15, 20 years, you show walkways, you show retaining walls, you show landscape beds.
That's right.
Like everything.
Dog kennel.
I was amazed that that actually got through there with just a building footprint and a driveway
Yeah, I
with
think-
no decks, no nothing, but,
I think you were sleeping that day.
yeah.
Like you say, in hindsight, 20 years ago, people built decks 10 by 12.
Yep.
Now they're building them 30 by
Yeah.
30. So,
Well, it's funny you say that because of what we do, because a lot of times, somebody's not gonna be able to sell a property without a permit. So we get a building footprint that the builder is thinking he might build. He has no idea what he's doing for a deck, and we have a deck that's 30 by 60, because we don't know where it's going. But it complies to the bylaws wherever you put it, so we end up having to show a deck across the whole back, so that,
Yeah.
yeah, so it covers all our bases.
So I know in the future, I think the commission is gonna be looking
Oh, absolutely,
for boxes.
oh, no.
Or Al says.
Not
envelopes.
boxes, not box, and trust me, we tell all our clients that. We need more info.
All right, thank you. Sean?
No questions.
Tom? Tony?
Questions?
Motion?
Move that we grant the amendment as currently proposed for 242-1721.
Yeah, we did that pretty good.
Second.
Al's no, this is second.
All those in favor say aye.
Trying
Aye.
to
Opposed, and that's unanimous.
trying to get it going, you know?
Great, thank you, John.
Thank you
Thanks,
very much.
John.
All right.
All right, John.
Guys, before we move on, Jamie didn't hear, and I don't remember hearing you continuing 242-1692, so let's just make sure we take a vote and continue to the 23rd.
We'll continue it again then, so moved.
I'm sorry, I thought.
That's all right.
Just want to
All
make sure.
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. That's 3 times.
Well, just in case we
Okay.
missed it,
Really make sure we
in
continue.
case we missed it,
that
you
way.
got it this time.
Got it.
All right,
Got it.
next one is RDA 175 4th Street.
All righty.
Okay, I'm not gonna ask, but
Yeah.
did you continue for 15 Boxford?
I don't think we
didn't
did that
have
one either. We
crossed
gotta,
off.
we haven't, we gotta,
didn't continue
we
that.
didn't, we have to continue 415.
Oh, yeah.
Al just moved it, second.
Oh, all right.
Motion and a second, 415. Request to continue to 623.
Aye.
You're on this.
He's
Oh,
got
okay.
bad
I thought we
glasses
did
on.
that one. Okay. I thought we did them all. Okay. Motion to continue till
Motion made,
6:23.
seconded, and 2 votes.
Motion and a
Aye.
second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous.
Okay.
It's my fault, I forgot.
Don't worry, Lou, it's only 105 degrees in here. We're all feeling a little,
In the shade,
All
and
right.
we're trying to work our schedule
just trying to
so
stay awake.
we get to see the Bruins too.
Not if we keep talking, we won't. Let's-
Yeah, let's,
175 4th Street, RDA.
all righty. Okay, so this project involves installation of an in-ground pool and surrounding patio at the outer reaches of the buffer zone. The larger wetland is across the street of Forest Street, and a small sliver is in the very corner, let's see, what is it, the easterly corner, or the northerly corner of the property? Come on. You guys can see it, all right. So the area where the pool is going is a flat lawn with landscaping. And basically, the rear of the property slopes this way, the side slopes this way, and it slopes in. So really, topography is sloping in towards the pool area. There's an existing crushed stone apron that actually wraps around this way to the paved driveway. That is the construction access route. I wanted Jack to revise the erosion control a little bit to encompass this area a little bit better, just downstream here. I mean, there's probably not a lot of risk, but just in terms of making sure that contractors know that this is sort of the area of work. There's gonna be a small retaining wall, landscape retaining wall here on the side. And that's it. You know, the fact that the wetland is across the street, I'll take full responsibility of saying this could be an RDA, but the commission may very well disagree with me. But so I'm gonna leave it at that and let you guys ask questions.
Joe?
Yeah, I think Amy's recommendation is pretty straightforward. I can see where Jack was coming from, doing what he did, but I think realigned erosion control just makes it crystal clear where the work limits are, and it provides that
Yeah.
same amount, if not stronger protection. Everything else looks pretty straightforward, I'm all set.
Al?
All set, Mr. Chairman.
Jack, one question. You're gonna come in through Forest Street, not by the driveway, correct?
No. this-
That's right, we're gonna use, I put a note, we're gonna use that crushed stone, existing crushed stone apron for access,
Okay,
not through the paved driveway.
all right, thank you. John?
And Lou, just to add, we showed the proposed soil stockpile area, we're hoping not to have to use one at all for this, but I showed it just graphically in case they have to use one.
Right, I think what really, it's tight, so what really makes sense is for a dump truck to be there to receive material and just haul it right off.
Well, it's gonna be more than one, but.
Well, no, I get it.
One at a
but-
time,
But
though.
not,
Yes.
not,
This is not the big dig.
The only question I asked the building inspector the other day, if an excavator can swing over somebody else's property, then you might have to look into that.
Yeah.
Because he can't swing toward the house.
No, that's not our problem.
Not our problem.
That's not
No,
our, that's
I'm
not.
not,
It's not even
I know.
No, but I think that's great
that-
that Lou made that inquiry, and yeah, that's
Listen,
great.
it's an excellent question,
Yeah.
but the Bruins are on.
oh my God.
Is Rask playing?
I'm just,
I don't know.
he told me no, so I don't know how true that is.
Yeah, they may need a mini excavator, maybe they
Yeah.
can't come in with a big one.
A lot of rock out there.
I just trying to make it simple.
Yep,
Sean,
I don't have any questions.
Tony,
No question.
motion.
So can an RDA was, I was always taught by some of the elders at the table, that you're limited to three, so who's got them?
Your three
Well-
conditions are pre-construction meeting?
Pre-construction meeting to inspect installed erosion controls per where I want them.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
Excavated material to be hauled off-site immediately
immediately.
with very limited stockpile. I
Okay,
mean,
one
we
more,
have-
you have one more wish.
And then post-construction inspection to ensure compliance.
I don't think you need the second condition, so I think we got two.
What about the erosion controls?
Stockpiling, if they show
She
it, if
doubled
it's
up on it.
inadequate,
Well,
they have
that's
to haul it
true.
out anyway,
Well,
so.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
it's not even a condition.
all right.
If they can use that, they have it. If they can't, take it out.
Also moved.
And -3?
Negative
those
three,
conditions.
negative three with your conditions.
Okay.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous.
Great, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks, Amy.
Next one is 99 Hay Meadow.
all righty.
here.
So,
This is the one I
99 Hay
got,
Meadow.
this is the one I got trouble.
I don't know what you're talking about.
There, guys.
I guess I'll find out.
all righty.
That's right, you
Hi, how are you?
I
Good.
try to make it small. I thought, for some reason, I
Alright.
said it was a small
So the
project.
commission will recall
Yes,
that
I'm
this
got you.
project came to you at the last meeting under
totally remember.
a small project permit.
Yep,
It is for the replacement of an existing driveway, basically. And because it's closer than 25 feet, it didn't qualify for small projects. So the commission directed that RDA be filed. So we have our RDA. Plan didn't change because the driveway is where the driveway is.
yep.
And there's no getting around it. So we had three conditions, well, actually, no, more than that. Let me just read it. Well, pre-construction meeting, install 12-inch mulch sock with a pre-construction meeting for inspection. Conservation staff needs to be on site while the reclaim and gravel base work is undertaken to make sure that the width of the driveway is kept exactly where it is, and then a post-construction site visit to ensure compliance. So that's really, I mean, I think that's gonna be three. Our measurements can happen during the reclaim.
Can we have a 3A? This is one of those sites where they're gonna demolish and remove the driveway.
Yeah.
And replace it. If the work is gonna go into a second day, they're gonna have, no demolition material can remain on site overnight. They should be able to get it all out of there in one
They're
day.
gonna
Oh,
strip
yeah.
it out and load it out anyway.
I don't have any doubt that
They're
they
not gonna
can,
leave it
but I don't
In
wanna
one
see,
day.
just in case for some reason something stupid happens, can't be a stockpile of,
No,
Right.
It's a 2-day project, they're gonna rip it out, haul it away.
I think it,
Prep it, and the next day they're gonna pay it.
Lou could probably do it in one day, but I definitely wanna.
Nobody's like Lou. I mean, nowadays, it takes like 5 guys.
I don't know,
to do
did
what
your,
Lou used to do.
your contractor
they,
indicate how long the project would
These
take?
guys will be in, they'll dig it out,
Well,
gravel.
you understand what I'm saying, right?
I know,
just
they'll
don't
put the
wanna-
bind, they'll put the bind.
Because that's so close, it's so close that.
I know, that's why I got Taylor going out to,
Yeah,
be
okay.
there
Well,
with
that's
you.
reasonable, I mean, this all makes sense.
Yeah, good.
Enough debate.
Okay, motion?
I move that we
Close-
issue,
You don't have any
Close
questions?
the hearing and
I'm
issue a
sorry.
-3
No
with
questions.
conditions.
close the hearing and issue a -3 as
Second.
proposed.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous.
Great. Okay,
You're all
good to go.
set.
So I'll
You're
get
good
your
to go.
permit in your
Are we having
hand.
another filing? Same with yours?
And then we'll just coordinate with your
Oh, she-
contractor
Oh, yeah.
for the
Withdraw it, okay.
pre-construction stuff.
You gotta,
Now, it's on here again, 99, should I stay?
We're
with
gonna
it?
Okay, yes.
withdraw that. Motion to
Yep.
withdraw.
So,
Second.
all
we're
those in favor say
withdrawing
aye.
that.
We're gonna
We're
we're gonna withdraw that right now.
We're
Okay.
doing it.
Yeah.
Motion to
Okay.
withdraw without prejudice.
You're all set.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yep.
It's been a pleasure.
Okay, thanks so
All those
much.
in favor say aye.
So nice and comfortable in here.
Oh, isn't it lovely?
Would love to
I'd rather,
stay.
I'd rather wear a mask at home.
Why would
In the air conditioning.
you wanna leave us? I mean,
I just have one more for you, to make sure that you or the contractor calls the office so Taylor can go out beforehand, because that's part of the order conditions.
Yeah,
Someone needs to come out ahead of time and then afterwards.
Yep.
Yeah, you have to call the department.
yep.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
All right. Next one.
Looks like 92 Bonnie Lane next,
Yeah,
Mr. Chairman.
small project, NACC 273.
All righty.
We can wrap this in 10 minutes, right?
Oh, we did that one. That was
No, we
the
didn't.
withdraw.
No,
Nope, that was
no.
99.
It was 99 withdrew.
So
Now
this
20
is-
lane.
And now we're
This is
doing Bonnie Lane.
92
Okay,
Bonnie
that's
Lane.
275.
So this is a small project permit to remove 6 unhealthy failing pine trees at the edge of the driveway. Half of those trees are snapped 10 to 15 feet down the trunks. Pine needles clog their driveway drain, which is right here, and water backs up into the garage. Very conservative measurement to the wetland is 64 feet, and actually the wetland is a little bit upslope from the work. They propose to replant with a mixture of arborvitae for screening and dogwood trees. I have CC'd Jean Enright with this project since it's in the watershed. She has no problem with it. So I'd recommend approval as category G with 2 conditions requiring erosion controls to be installed downslope of the work so that we make sure nothing gets into the street, and then a post-construction site visit with the Conservation Department.
Thank you. Joe?
So,
It's refreshing to see a tree request come in beforehand. I'm all set.
Especially this street, this is probably one of the most critical streets
Yeah, one
with
of the-
respect to the
One of the
watershed,
streets
so.
that never should have been there.
Well, we can't go back that far. But I'm all set, thank you, Mr.
Sean?
Chairman, I'm all set.
No questions?
Tony? Motion?
What is this coming in under?
G.
So moved.
Second.
G.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous.
And I vote we approve it with any conditions in,
Yeah, I said those.
Second.
whatever Amy said.
Whatever Amy says.
Whatever Amy says.
Said, past tense.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. Whatever Amy says.
Whatever Amy says.
No,
That's what we're gonna put down.
be
And
careful.
it's on the record,
We're
Amy,
not
it's
giving a
on,
carte blanche. Just
Amy, it's on the record, so I mean,
Conditions, whatever Amy says.
Said, whatever I do.
We're not putting words in her mouth.
Imagine.
We move right to the head of the class.
All right.
All right, next one is enforcement order, 201 Marble Ridge Road.
All righty, so the commission will recall issuing an enforcement order for unauthorized tree and stump removal within the 200-foot riverfront area. Replanting, no disturb zone monumentation, and final as-built plan were required. 4x4 posts with wetland markers are in. The plantings are installed, and they were installed by our deadline of May 30th. Seeded with a native seed mix and oversight with, from Oxbow Associates. So we had the wetland consultant on site. Let's see, plants look good, seeding is taking well, and the homeowner is very diligent about watering these guys because he's got a hose right there. The rest of the site that was disturbed is growing grass and stable. We have an as-built plan, which I can pull up.
Oh, do we need to hear any more?
This guy is very cooperative.
Yeah. Amy, we're good. We're good
Okay,
over
all
here.
right, all right,
Yeah, we're
all
all
right.
good.
Okay, all right.
I drive by the site every day, and
Okay.
I think it looks perfect.
Good.
Yeah,
So
it
we
did a good
have
job.
we required 3 years monitoring for the plants.
Okay.
So I recommend keeping the enforcement in place in anticipation that we're gonna get monitoring reports for the next 3 years. And then we'll just revisit this once those 3 years are up to lift it.
So what do you need from us? Do you need ratification or just for us to?
No,
put that in
no,
place?
Do you
I
want
don't
us
think
to,
you
do you
need
want us to add this language to the enforcement order, amend the enforcement order with the language you just gave, and then ratify it? Or do you want
I
a
don't
new,
think so. I
or
think
do you
the-
want a new enforcement order?
No, I think the EO says what it says.
The enforcement order gets recorded, correct?
No.
Does the enforcement order say on it that, 3 years? Okay.
Yep.
All right, so
Okay,
this
they
is
were all
just an
set.
So it's an
update.
update.
They were
yeah.
all set.
Update?
It's just an update.
Yeah.
So at a
Said
minimum, all we do
planting
is
shall be
ratify
monitored annually
the
during
amendment
height
to
of
it.
growing season.
At the
I
three.
don't
You
Years.
said it's in there.
And it's already in
That would be
there.
the maximum.
already in
Yeah.
We're not amending, we're not doing anything?
This
We're not
was
doing
an
anything.
excellent
So
update.
it's update, just.
You're all set then?
You're all set.
Thank you.
Just what Amy says.
Yep.
Okay,
All right.
I'm gonna jump over. 268 Raleigh Tavern, request to continue
So
to
moved.
July 4th.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Right.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. The next one is 50 Duncan Drive.
Hi. So we have the homeowner with us, Sean. Thanks for coming. All righty, so, Commissioner will recall
No, Amy does.
that staff observed work going on, what, in the 25 and the 50 and the 100. And actually, this is a vernal pool, so we have the 50-foot no disturb zone, 75-foot no build zone. Homeowner has cooperated since we've issued enforcement letters and enforcement orders. We have asked that they provide delineated wetland and an as-built or existing conditions plan to show what is on site, what's in our jurisdiction, what's out of our jurisdiction. The commission also asked me to research historic aerials to see when these rear decks were in place. And the earliest aerial that is clear enough to make that determination is 2001. So they've been there at least since 2001. Let's see. So the plan shows the existing new concrete pads within the 25 and the 50, a gravel patio base in the 75, and a proposed fence in the 75. So the deck work is simply replacing deck boards. Correct. Okay. So it's not like they're changing shape, footings aren't changing or being replaced. Just, yeah. Well, anyway. So it looks like we have the poured concrete around the house that is in the 25 partially and the 50-foot no disturb zone. I mean, I have no doubt this was in existing lawn, but nonetheless.
When were those poured?
I thought that would have moisture penetration.
Yeah, I'm sorry, so my question was when?
This fall.
When did it happen?
Yeah, this fall,
March
is that?
30th. No, March 30th.
Yep.
So you poured them to prevent moisture from entering your basement?
Yes.
That doesn't work, by the way. Somebody stole your bad bill of goods. What they should have done is have you dig it up, dig some of it out, and just put crushed stone. So the water goes in and flows. It would have been a hell of a lot cheaper.
Yeah, I was working with a contractor and we started this project with to removing the leaves from winter and fall. And
Okay.
then that expanded to a decking, replacement decking, and existing handrails and retaining wall. Little, in years it's damaged, so wanted to repair it and wanted to repair walkways, and then ended up putting a
All right,
concrete slab.
so what we do is we have to give this guy some guidance, the applicant. Concrete walk and a concrete sidewalk is in
Yep, that's a problem.
that according to our bylaw has to come out.
Yep.
And then he could crush stone, take this concrete out and just put crushed stone in there. That's legal, correct? Can he put,
Oh, is it the vernal pool or?
Yeah,
yeah,
If it's crushed stone, it's pervious.
Well, you can't put anything within the no disturb zone. Can't go in a no disturb zone. You can't mow it, can't put crushed stone there.
True enough.
right,
True enough. Yeah, that's true.
so he's gotta return it to,
That's true. If it's no disturb, you're right.
It looks like you might be able to get a foot strip in there or something like that and do it like a French drain.
French drain.
But,
And then the restoration is obviously going to have to overdate for the front pad, the grading it back up to it to be 5 acres.
Right.
but the no disturb for a vernal pool is 50, correct?
No disturb is 50, no build is 75.
So he
Yeah,
can't,
all right, so
so
everything.
he can't do anything.
you
Well,
can't- Yeah, you can't, I mean, literally, so just look at,
well, the house was built in 1984, so
Yeah, but
way before regs.
this picture
right.
shows, doesn't show anything in 2001 along the garage.
Oh, right, no, I know.
What are the conditions there right now?
Taylor, you were out there?
Yes, so the areas where the soil was disturbed is revegetated. All the concrete walkway is still in place. No further work has continued. Erosion controls are doing a good job keeping everything at bay. And the decks have been left. No further work has been done to the decks
But this
since
record-
March 30th.
2001.
Yep.
Is there,
So I would say that was, when they built, that deck was there.
is there more impervious
Yeah,
area
actually it
or
is.
modifications in the no disturb that
Let
have
them
to
do a
come out?
replacement to the deck?
Just
Return everything
the,
else to normal.
just the
Yeah.
side, just the
The only thing
walkway.
is the fence.
Just the walkway itself?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's in the actual no disturb.
The only thing is
That's
the,
in, yeah, the
Yeah,
corner
the
of it is
fence.
in the 25.
Well, again, the no disturb is 50 feet out on this
On
one, not 25.
Yeah, okay. So,
So half, pretty much everything he's doing out there is
So I'm looking at,
within the no disturb. So one thought I had is, and Lou and I have been talking a little bit, it looks like the deck has been there since 2001, and I think we both would be in,
you see this plan, these are the plans.
yeah, no, this is the deck over here, see?
Yep.
But it goes right, I know it goes through, but it might have been built during the house.
Is the deck being posted to the ground, or is it just can't leave it off the house?
The deck
like
is
it's shown?
elevated.
Yeah,
So this deck.
it's
that's
cantilevered
deck
with
is
the
just-
supports coming down just like that, that's not
above
temporary,
double
correct?
doors, next to the double doors, that's gonna be attached to the house.
I mean, I'm inclined, Sean, I think,
it
is
is
to,
attached,
we
correct.
would
Oh,
be
it's been
forgiving
there.
toward the deck,
Yeah,
but the concrete around the building.
This one
around,
and that one?
Yeah,
That's
no, I
gotta
get
go.
it.
Yeah, everything, we're just reconstructing.
That's gotta go. And the area in the back that you have, you've done some disturbance, just let it grow back.
Yep.
It's growing back
It's growing back.
currently. Yep.
Okay. So all the disturbed areas, all right, so correct me if I'm wrong, so we're looking at, you gotta remove the
Demolish
concrete.
the concrete slab.
They got all gotta be removed, and all this area's gotta be restored. You really can't do anything.
One thing I would say, though, I mean, if your goal is to get water away from your house, and you come in with a proposal to do that is reasonable, I mean, his house is in the no disturb area, and the guy needs to maintain his house. So, if you want to come in and propose something that's underground infiltration or stone or something to do that, I think he probably has that right and would really consider the waiver in that
I
regard.
would think from just a purely wetland standpoint, if he had like a trench drain that daylighted and ultimately was intercepting groundwater that was otherwise probably going through a sump pump and out, not back to the vernal pool, and it was directed back to the vernal
Just on the
pool.
grass, let it leach.
Yeah.
If he's got a level spreader out of the
Yeah,
grass,
I think that would be
that satisfies
perfectly
me.
fine. Yeah.
A level spreader is the best thing.
And I think you'll end up with better protection in your basement too. If you
Yeah.
put took the concrete out, put a trench drain right next to it, stone, pipe, and then got it out to daylight someplace.
Because the concrete does nothing.
Yeah. You'll never have flooding if
He
you
gave
do
you a
that.
bad bill of goods.
Does that sound like?
Just out of rough idea.
So you know what we're saying? Dig a strip, we don't wanna can we give him 2 feet?
Yeah, I would,
Well, I think we gave him, this is an update, and we're here to give him direction.
Right.
So I think we've given him quite a bit of direction, that
So-
you get the concrete out, and if you want to get the water away from your home, come in front of us with what your plan is, with a consultant,
Okay.
and they'll, I'm a layperson, and I don't know if maybe you're into water infiltration, but it's amazing what they can do without throwing 3 or 4 feet of concrete around your house.
Okay, then after removing the concrete,
Yes.
then originally it was
you know,
저기 뭐야 그 뭐라 그러지?
see,
나무에
he's getting water in his ground.
mulch and soil.
You
It's the
had,
downspouts, probably, yeah.
Mulch and soil.
Because there's no
Yeah,
basement.
on that concrete slab area.
Along
Yep.
where the,
So,
it's gonna be
can I just
coming
put
back
the-
in.
Trying to help. So
The mulch
he can
and,
get this-
so he
some
needs
soil.
somebody to design the drain system you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, actually, he'd be fine. You don't have a basement under your garage, because it's gotta be a slab on grade for the garage. So if you're getting water coming back into the garage, my guess is it's the downspouts coming down right next to the house.
He's right here,
right? Yeah.
That's not one?
I think that's your issue.
Where is the water going in? Where is it going in? Is it going in right there? at
Around the
that-
foundation, right?
Is the water going in right at that spot where those pipes are?
But this,
The corners of your garage, that's what's wet?
No, when it rains,
Yeah,
it's not coming to the house, but when I found the moisture, excessive moisture, then I think, some water coming from rain or ground. That's why I thought,
but that's your garage, correct?
yes, garage.
See, the drain's coming down and depositing right up against the building. So the water comes down, it sits there, and then just
Right.
leaches down.
so
Goes-
it's a
and goes
matter of
into- Goes into your,
connecting the
foundation of your
downspouts
garage.
to,
Either,
get it away from the house.
yeah, just get it away from the house, a little splash block or something,
You could-
and grate it.
It's not the most beautiful thing, but you could get extensions.
Yep.
I got them all over my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will think about
I
that,
love
how.
Yeah.
They got character.
You have good looking pipes.
okay.
Yeah, going back to
We paint them.
my original question is, so, yeah, no problem with
Oh,
removing the
right.
concrete slab?
So the concrete slab, right, and so what was there was a landscape bed. He's asking if he could put the landscape bed back.
Sure.
So I don't see a reason.
Like a mulch, it was old mulch and soil.
Yep.
And try, for starters, put extensions on the downspouts. They make these plastic ones that look like dryer hose.
Boy, what about an in-ground?
Yeah, I mean, that's.
Well,
the
you can
other
do that too.
What
There's
about
a lot
barrel?
of things you can do. We should really consult with somebody.
But
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
no,
saying,
that's-
he needs somebody that does this.
Yeah, but,
But I
I
don't
mean,
know
there's a
whether-
lot of things, and I would say as long as the limit of temporary disturbance doesn't go beyond what he's gonna have to do anyways to remove
Right.
that.
Can we authorize staff to give him some guidance on site?
I
Yeah,
would,
I think
that's what I would do.
Yeah.
This guy's already gone through an expense that he didn't have to.
Yeah, no,
Just to try to keep it,
Sure,
You know
but
what
if
I'm
they,
talking about,
they have to come
tailoring.
back for something, some sort of
French drain
application,
or just-
RDA.
Yeah,
Try the
I would think
downspouts.
RDA,
RDA?
yeah.
I think an IDA,
Yep.
I think an IDA would be appropriate, and then, you could give him the best, either help him design it or have him hire somebody that can.
Okay.
There's really no design. I mean,
Well,
if you put
to-
the
to-
downspouts on, it's nothing.
To you and me, and Sean
But I mean,
and Anthony is no.
But he was talking about a French drain or something like that,
No.
more than just the downspouts.
Right.
Once
I
they
mean-
rip out the concrete, they can see what's going on too. That- I
It
mean,
looks like it's pitching back towards the house. too.
That's- yeah,
That's what it
that's
looks like to
kind
me,
of-
it's,
yeah.
looks like it's pitching the wrong way.
And it was probably a raised planting bed, so everything kind of.
So it's gotta be
sat.
intercepted, some French drain has to go in and pick it up,
Yeah.
which can,
Okay.
What we're trying to help you with is very inexpensive.
Okay.
You've already gone through one expense that you shouldn't have had to. But-
Pulling the concrete out is gonna be another
Yeah.
expense.
And at some point, I'd like to know who the contractor was, because if he's gonna operate in this town,
So,
he's operating illegally.
Get somebody to pay for all that
So
work,
how
all they
about-
need is down.
all right, so we're not gonna allow for a proposed fence in the 75, okay? And the replacement of the deck boards, does
Yeah.
that need review? Can
Is-
that be a
in-
small project
in
for
kind?
in-kind replacement?
In-kind is a small project, I think,
Yeah.
as long as it doesn't require a waiver.
It does.
Yeah, because it's in
The house is in the 25.
So it's all gotta be part of the IDA then.
Okay,
But it's, again,
Make the IDA all encompassing.
completely permissible.
Put as many projects on there as possible, and that way
Okay.
there,
okay. All right,
get the best use you can out of that IDA.
okay,
Right.
all right. So we can help you with the RDA process, and we can kind of talk to you about the options for dealing with the downspouts and the water.
Right. What-
And
score there?
then help you with the
Yeah, I'm not
application.
What time the
But
game
the
start?
first thing is getting the concrete out.
7:30.
That's really, that's the
That's
first
what,
thing,
6:30,
and that's what
before
they'll
that,
vote
7:30, it's all over.
to
And put
require.
the mulch and soil, that's fine.
Mulch and soil back.
But
After
I
removing
wouldn't
them.
do that until you figure out,
Solve the water problem
you
first,
gotta
So-
solve the
okay,
water
yeah,
problem
yeah.
first, and then you
Yep.
can do whatever.
and then
you-
yes, and
And
then
then
yes.
yes, you can put your beds back.
It's
Okay.
gotta be in sequence.
Yep,
Because
gotcha.
if you gotta put a French drain, you don't wanna
Just
put your
start
Dig
beds
it up
back
all
and
up
have
again.
to tear them all up again.
Because the
Okay.
water, you can see it's pitching, everything's running right towards it.
Yep,
The way it was graded poorly.
Well,
Yeah.
first of all, I call that contractor you hired to do the side, the concrete, ask if he had a good time, now he can take it out.
for free.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. All right, so you guys want to vote to amend the enforcement order to require
Requiring an
removal of-
IDA with all the work.
Right, and then but immediate removal of the,
That's immediate.
I
concrete?
just moved all of that.
Yep.
Whatever Amy says.
cut it out. All right, yeah.
And I think, any good guidance you can give, even if it's just introducing them to somebody competent that could do the work.
Yeah,
Yeah, just two very quick questions, I know we all will move on, but the person that put in the concrete around your house, is he the one that suggested it to you?
yes.
Okay. I don't have a second question then.
Call lawyer.
So it's started from small. Now he just suggested this, then I think, wow, maybe good idea, then expand it.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
okay.
We're sorry that you got bad advice, but we're gonna try to help you.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. All righty, so
Okay.
I'll be in touch with the amended paperwork, and then we can get on site and talk about it further.
Okay, I'm sorry, because my English is my,
No, that's
not
okay.
the first language. So
That's okay.
regarding the decking
Yeah.
and retaining, I don't know the retaining, the handrail and steps.
Yeah, so you guys want an RDA for that?
Yeah, idea
Yeah,
for
so-
everything.
So we
Well-
need a formal application for the work that you want to do on the decks. And we want to try to tie in the water solution with that same application.
So
See-
to answer your question, sorry,
Yeah, that's
so to
all right.
answer your question, the deck is proposed, we think we will allow it. The deck is gonna be okay.
Okay,
In kind, same size, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that'll be okay.
they're okay.
Yeah.
Then stair, the front
Yeah,
stair.
if there was stairs there to replace the
Existing
stairs.
stairs, then.
Yep.
In the same location.
Yeah, same
Same
location, and rust the metal
That's fine.
handrail.
Yep.
and
Yep,
change it.
that's
Okay,
fine, yep,
okay.
yep.
And removing concrete.
All the
Yeah.
concrete.
On the garage and in the back.
Yeah, on the back,
And
too.
when the concrete comes out, we want them to try to solve the drainage problem.
That's up to him, I mean.
If you-
it's-
Yeah, water problem,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it may exist, may not. Because I moved to the house 2013, and when I saw some soils taking away, and little spots there, I thought, oh, maybe this and moisture things into the garage, the wall side.
Yep.
Well, maybe, and also the contractor proposed a recommendation, and I thought, oh, maybe a better option. That's why I had that one. So water solution, if it's not really my must item, if it's not a must item, I want just remove it.
Not as number one
Fine,
job.
yep.
And also fence, the family decided not to do that. That's exclusively for my little pet.
Yep.
Because he had some leg problem,
Yep.
had surgery, but it didn't really help. I wanted to have small fence for him.
Okay.
But I told him, hey, it's not good time. We have frogs and turtles, so next year he may not need that. So
I mean,
forget about the
you
fence.
could fence in part of the backyard.
Yeah, sure.
You'd have to just be at the 75 and then return to the shed.
Well, no, I mean, he can go within 50 feet with a fence.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
75 foot, no build zone to a vernal pool?
It's only a 3-foot high fence.
It's only a fence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we let fences within, up to our 25s,
We've
generally
had fences
speaking.
right
Into the
on,
no-
right up to the 25.
So,
Yeah.
into the no,
Yep. No
We've
re-
u-
no
we've
retaining
used
walls.
fences and Jersey barricades to block people from going into the no disturb.
Yeah. We make people put
Stone
fences and
walls,
walls up at the
Stone
25.
walls, Jersey barricades,
You
fences.
do it for us.
We've done it
So to me,
routinely.
I want to really make
She's
things,
curious because she's
simple
saying
and
vernal pool.
simplify.
vernal pool.
I'm
So-
sorry, say that again?
I really want to make things simply.
Yep.
So, to replace the existing deck with new material
Yep.
and the handrails and steps.
Yep.
And that's it. Then I remove the concrete.
Okay.
And water problem, after things are cleared and settled down, then maybe next year, the following year, I will see what really happens.
Yeah, you'll analyze what the situation is. Yeah.
Well,
That's
you
fine.
can do that, but I would suggest at least get you the proof, what you wanna do. If you don't do it, that's fine, but if you put it under this order,
Yeah.
it'll be there. If you
Yeah.
don't put it there,
Uh-huh.
you'll have to refile again and pay the
Yeah.
money.
Right.
Just put everything on down.
Just put everything in there.
Yeah.
If you do it, fine. If you don't do it, that's fine. If you
Right.
don't- it's not
At
enforced
least you
law.
got approval to do it, but if you don't do it, that's okay
Yeah.
too.
So this is too much for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
No,
No,
I know.
Understood,
I know.
yeah.
Really, I didn't really intend to see this thing happen.
Mhm.
And also, I missed the sorry, the saying sorry last in the meeting, because this is my first time. I haven't had any
Oh.
speeding tickets.
Yeah, no, that's
What I'm
okay.
doing.
I know, the last time was, terrible. It was, we were.
And this is now in-person meetings, then I
Yeah.
feel more
Yeah.
comfortable.
Yes,
I recognize that you're trying to help.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
I really want to make it simplified.
Sure.
You have to understand us, when we see an application or a site with multiple violations, naturally, we just kinda like, whoa, wait a minute, who's this guy?
Yeah.
But we didn't know, you didn't know,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
that's why we're in this position that we're trying to help. And, like I said, put the stone water option on the application. If you do it, fine. If you don't, that's fine. At least it's there.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
thank you for-
we'll be in touch.
Yeah, understand.
Just based, I know what my schedule is like, and I have Monday off, so middle of next week.
Yeah.
So just hang tight, and I'll get you the paperwork, and we can get on site together and talk about it.
Okay.
Okay,
Great, thank you very
Okay,
much.
thank
all
you.
right,
Thank
thanks
you.
for
Thank you.
coming.
Excellent decisions. I don't have, did you already give them out?
What do you need? I got one here.
242-1812, 42 Huckleberry.
I actually have what's labeled as Amy's copy, so I better give this.
Whoa.
Okay.
I have Amy's copy.
The official one?
I don't know how I got that, Amy,
I
but
do. It's the official copy of the North Andover Conservation Administrator.
I had for a short period of time, the official copy.
Wow.
It's like the Constitution.
This is just a deck, right? Yeah. So I'm not, I don't have any question. But I'll be nice and look through it. Be nice.
I didn't print it in color, sorry.
Pretty straightforward, Amy.
Yep.
Yeah, I actually have a question. Should we add the letter from the neighbor saying you can come on my property as a record?
Yeah, it can be a document that's,
Why not?
incorporated by reference attached here too?
I don't think you should, because, well, you're a lawyer.
Play one on
If,
television.
if the guy next door decides to change his mind and say, I don't want you to do that.
So it's
We
just,
we got under our orders that they can't, that they have to, they can.
oh, it's just a
No,
statement
it's,
he made
it's,
at the
it's,
time.
it's valid until it's revoked.
We don't know,
Nothing
we
is,
don't know he made
Yeah, it's a
a
license.
statement.
it's a license until it's not a license
Do
anymore.
we have a
that's all.
letter?
Who entered the letter? The abutter or the
The
applicant?
abutter,
Entered
signed-
the, entered,
said-
yeah?
yep,
And-
All right.
And the abutter gave the letter to you or the applicant?
the applicant.
The applicant. So the applicant could have done it him herself. You didn't confirm with the abutter was accurate on it. So,
We were televised at that time, I think that.
I know, but
We'll
we
leave it
don't,
out. We'll leave it out.
she received the letter
Yeah, she was-
from the applicant. But he could have a
Okay.
guy on the
It
main
could've been
street
the
just do
neighbors.
it.
All right, so I guess just keep it in the file.
that was-
Just keep it in the file. I wouldn't put it on the order.
Okay,
Okay.
There's no level of
Okay.
comfort.
No. Trust nobody,
Oh,
right?
trust if you want, but just don't trust him in writing. Or if you do, make sure you get it right from the horse's
Get it
mouth.
notarized, yes.
Yeah.
so in the project description, at the end, I said, access from the northerly side of the house along the top of the riprap slope is not feasible. And should access over the neighbor's property not be allowed, this will render the project unfeasible.
Okay,
Is that all right?
yeah. Guy says, no, he's done.
What number was that?
Yeah,
That's
I don't-
project
I don't see it.
description
It's at
21.
the end.
It's the dark, sorry,
It's the redacted section.
Oh, there it is, yeah.
Okay.
You do not collect $200,
Ah.
and you go
Straight
directly to jail.
2,500?
Yep,
Sure.
all right. I need a motion.
So
I
move.
mean, we're just.
Yeah,
let's
that's
talk
taken through this.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. So it's written as Amy says.
Well written,
Well written.
yep.
like,
No
what I
modifications whatsoever.
And the knuckleball is last but not least.
Sorry.
2/1800. That's why I should have worn my shirt today.
Never written a denial for you guys, so I borrowed from what was in the computer.
I don't think we've ever denied. Did I
Is
get
this,
them?
does this one supersede the one I had? You had given me
Oh,
this
yeah, I
one.
already gave it to you.
Okay.
Same
I didn't know
thing.
if you had a superseding
No,
order.
superseding.
Okay.
No, same. So, first paragraph just states, they filed an NOI for what they filed, in what resource, legal notification, public hearings. Third paragraph talks about me performing a pre-hearing site visit, noting that, the area looked like a potential vernal pool, and that the applicant subsequently submitted a waiver request and mitigation proposal requesting a waiver from the 75 and the 50, allowing for, mitigation in the 50. Fourth paragraph talks about, just what was offered as mitigation and what was the square footage of impact.
You can put in 81 swimming.
Fifth and sixth paragraphs talk about you guys asking for the potential vernal pool to be investigated. Applicant saying that we can't get on site. our
When you say the
neighbors-
fifth and sixth paragraph, you mean on page one?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so. And then, you know, April 27th is my investigation with the applicant and the consultant, and I was able to wade in a perimeter of the pool and, found enough evidence to satisfy vernal pool criteria, appendix C, section 1C, D, O, and Q. Section 2 pretty much section 2A and B just kind of goes through what our regs say. And I'll let you read section 3, because I think that's it.
I'm all set.
Only thing I have, paragraph 2 and 3.
On the first page?
Yep. It's the wrong bear, should be B-E-A-R. So, that's the only.
Thanks. I didn't know which one I should use. Bear, as in brr,
Well, bear is as in bearing, too, like as,
bear.
yeah, supporting
Having
the weight
the-
of having the, yeah.
The BEER one is just for beer.
Yes, that's, no mistake on that.
No
Oh,
mistake.
beer?
I am,
Yep, that one was reserved only for liquid.
Anybody have any questions? Please still.
Section 3, paragraph 2, last sentence, when no other alternative is feasible.
Yep, and period at the end of it.
I'm sorry. Which page?
Page 4.
Section 3, paragraph 2? Yep.
So one thing I would consider adding to this
Yes.
is that the commission finds that the applicant did not meet the standard of clear and convincing, whatever.
Which page are you on? I'm sorry.
Well, on page 4 at the top, you cite the statute or the regulation, which ends with, upon a clear and convincing showing by the applicant that. So I would say that I don't think the applicant met that standard. It's a very high standard.
Where were you reading, Sean?
From our regulation on page 4 at the very top. Where it says, the applicant must show, clear and convincingly show that there's no practicable conditions or alternatives, the project, the three
Yep.
things they have to show.
Three
I
diamonds.
think we should reference that, that standard, that clear and convincing standard in our
In the,
denial
Denial,
section
okay.
itself.
all right.
And we do say that, we state waiver standards and then that they didn't meet it, but I do think we should introduce it by the standard, the applicable standard is clear and convincing, and the commission finds that they didn't meet that standard.
So, I'm looking on the NACC waiver standard.
Yep.
At no time did the applicant attempt to reconfigure the project to shrink impact. Should we use the DEP language of minimize, mitigate, or?
Yeah, so, okay, so the next sentence, the commission finds that the overarching tenets of the wetland protection regulation is to first avoid jurisdiction.
Okay.
If jurisdiction cannot be avoided, the project is then value engineered to shrink impacts to the greatest extent practicable that would accomplish the project with the least amount of impact. Then, once impact is reduced to the greatest extent practicable, mitigation is then designed to improve natural capacity. Is that okay? Or
Yeah.
should I say it differently?
I just don't like shrink impact. I'm thinking modify the project or.
Okay. Minimize impact?
Well, yeah, minimize impact, but I guess modify the project is what it gets down to, because then you describe the three standards for
Okay.
the modification.
Okay.
Which would be,
Modify. Okay.
So maybe what I would do, Amy, is at the end of what you've got written here,
Yeah.
state something along the lines, just one additional paragraph. Furthermore, the applicable standard is that they, let me change that. The, standard, is that standard? You know what, you call them these NACC waiver standards. Where'd you get that term from?
Well, I have to be honest, I borrowed from a previous denial, because I wanted to kind of follow what you guys were used to, so.
I would say elements. Can we call them NACC waiver elements?
Sure.
Because the standard really is clear and convincing.
mitigative requirements, that's what we call them in the bylaw.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Criteria?
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Is criteria?
Well,
or-
mitigative requirements is what we call them right now.
Oh, all right, all right, gotcha.
So then it refers back to exactly the section that you're.
Okay.
Yep. And then at the end, I think you could say the applicable standard to overcome the mitigative requirements is clear and convincing showing by the applicant, and that has not been met in this application.
Okay.
Did a fine job.
I move that we issued the denial for 242, 1800, 158 Forest Street as drafted and amended.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
You could abstain.
And that's unanimous.
Tony abstains.
Now we need,
I abstain, because I don't know if I've missed enough of the hearing before,
I think so.
but I think I can still comment on the decision.
I think you can, so,
Yeah, no, I just to,
I know you were here for the opening.
I was here for the opening and.
You,
You did a
I
site
think
review.
you're qualified, but
You're
whatever you feel
qualified, you do
comfortable.
whatever,
No, it's-
whatever makes you comfortable.
Well, I just,
You only missed one meeting.
All right.
yeah, but I'd rather, if I abstain, there's no argument that
Yeah, if you-
procedurally.
If you want to abstain.
Yeah,
sure.
because we still have enough votes, you still have the
Oh, yeah,
quorum.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that's, that way you're,
All right, Jamie, you got that? Anthony is going to officially be an abstention.
Yeah, I got that.
All right, thank you.
sign on the bottom, top, does it matter?
Doesn't matter.
All right.
You don't have to sign forest. So this is forest.
Gotta print our names now?
Oh,
Says it.
I don't see what
What
it
does it?
says. I can't even do white.
Oh,
Do we have to
Oh, yeah.
print, we have to print our name now?
person. I don't know.
Since
We've
when?
never had to print our
We
names.
never had to.
What is
print
this
out
stuff
our
you're
name.
bringing to our commission here?
We
Motion
didn't,
to adjourn, you
we
guys?
didn't, we didn't do it in the past,
Second.
but I would, second.
Whatever I said. We're adjourned.
Whatever you-
Amy said,
We have a motion and a second to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that's unanimous.